Shine. Grab your coffee cup, come spend some time. I know it's early, the start of a new day. No need to worry, it's Local Cafe. Rise and shine, baby, wake and bake. Clear out your mind, maybe, just take a break. Local Cafe. Chill out with us today.
Beans will be here in just a moment. We got Sweet Tea. Go and bring her in. Good morning, Sweet Tea. How are you doing today?
One second.
Okay. So, hey, what's up?
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
It's been a weekend. Let me tell you. So, yeah, my cat Kratos got sick. So, had to handle all of that. And, this morning woke up to more sick. So I had to handle that. But, it's all good. It's all good. And
Poor thing.
Yeah. I think
like throwing up sick or
it's everything. It is everything. My wife took him to the vet, so hopefully all is good.
I would hope the best for him.
I appreciate it. He probably just ate something that's just dumb. Animals are sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the stream is buffering, and I just asked the chat if the stream is buffering. I don't know. It is. Oh, man. I think Madhouse cursed us. I think whatever ghost they picked up at the haunted house got into the LCU, and then now we got to deal with it. So thank you, Madhouse.
Could be.
I heard they didn't have the best stream, and, I hope they just sent the redirect. Beautiful. Yeah, it says my audio's cutting out. I have no idea. I'm going to wait for Beans to get in here. But, yeah, she said she'll be here in a moment, guys. So, yeah, WZRL's in the chat for the Madhouse stream. I heard that it was kind of iffy. I heard they had some hiccups that they didn't plan on. They definitely tried to do something much different than anyone else in the LCU ever did. So, hats off to them for that one. I know that... I know they had a lot riding on this, and they promoted it to hell. All the other shows promoted it. You know what I mean? So I feel for them. Yeah. Real quick, we're not the worst podcast in the LCU. Actually, I guess Local Live is the worst podcast on all of YouTube. I don't know if they take the cake on that one, but either way.
500 people watching. And it was just Jaffe sitting there in the dark, and I couldn't hear him very much. But that's all I got to see of it.
Yeah, I got you. So, yeah, stream is buffering. I see it. This is so annoying. Good morning, Beans. You look beautiful, as always.
Good morning.
I look horrible. Good morning, everybody. I look horrible. No, I decided, I was like, you know what? I barely have any time. I don't have time to do my makeup. I literally just walked through that door and I just like slather on the foundation, put a little lipstick on, right? But I try to do like the chola, like, outline on the lips with like some brown.
Oh, yeah. You should have did black. You should have did black. Would have been better,
I ain't
Beans.
got any black.
You see?
I ain't got no black.
I can't.
I tried
was
lip
gonna
liner
say
for the
something.
first time, and I
You did?
cannot figure out how to use it. So
Well, it's complicated because some people have like an invisible lip line, you know, so you don't know how to lip line it, lip lock, you know.
that's kind of how mine is. My lip looks like the coloration's not really on it, like down here, so it's hard.
Now you got me questioning my lips. Oh,
You're
I don't know
man.
what you're
Beautiful,
talking
Ken.
about, but I was listening to some pretty good music. If anybody wants to listen to some good music, you have to go back in time a little bit, you know? So one of the best songs that I completely forgot about until it popped up on my Spotify was Knock You Down. That was trifecta when it came to music back in the day because it had Carrie when she was in her prime. It had the old Kanye, the good Kanye, not that new Kanye. And then it had Neo. Neo used to be freaking everywhere. Miss Independent, freaking Knock You Down, all those other songs. It is peak. And you know that I was going through like a throwback because I started listening to Mindless Behavior. If you know, you know. I was not a One Direction girl. I was a Mindless Behavior girl. Yeah, I know you don't know what that is, Ken. Boomer report.
I can't.
But
Real quick. Doug Savannah with the Canadian too. Good morning, Coffee Culto. It's coffee time. Thank you, Doug. That was beautiful. So,
it's coffee time.
it's always coffee time here at the cafe. But we were just talking about the Madhouse stream. You know, they had the series of unfortunate events. I think that's a movie, and you know they did the best they could. You know, hats off to them for going way out there out of left field trying to bring something new to the LCU. I'm very happy they tried, and I think the community is still going to get behind them, even though they ran into some hiccups. So hats off to them.
Heck yeah.
Well, yeah. So a lot of people were talking about Madhouse and their whole stream, but would you rather them fake everything like, you know, other people in the LCU, or would you rather them have a real stream, nothing goes on, ghosts aren't real, blah blah blah. Anyways, it's either or. There's some people that appreciate the authenticity, and then there's other people that are saying that it's just, you know, it's boring. At least fake some of it so we have something to watch. But other than that, I wanted to get into something.
Oh boy. Well, but what is your topic of choice, Beans?
My topic of choice. I don't know if you already did an intro, but hey folks, welcome to the LolCal Cafe, your daily shot of internet absurdity, accountability, and whatever else bubbles up from the boiling stew of pop culture. So, I'm your host, Beans, along with Ken and Sweet Tea. And today's episode, it's going to be a heavy one. We're going to talk about the Hassan, Piker, and Ethan situation. We're going to talk a little bit about Diddy, so get your oil ready. And we're going to talk about the LCU. So let's get into it. As of this morning, Sean Diddy Combs, yes, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, the guy who changed his name more times than your favorite streamer has rage quit, is officially standing in trial in federal court in Manhattan. And no, this isn't a tabloid rumor or some clickbait TikTok. We're talking serious charges such as sex trafficking and a little bit of racketeering. So tied to what prosecutors are calling a decade-long criminal enterprise through his label Bad Boy Entertainment. Sorry, now my mouth is dry. Jesus Christ, a mouthful. According to the feds, Diddy allegedly used his power in the industry to coerce women into drug-fueled trafficking and sex acts. So something they refer to as the freak-offs, we all know what that is, with threats of violence, retaliation, and other career sabotage. One of the key witnesses, well, it's his former partner, that is Casey Ventura, who already made headlines when surveillance footage from 2016 surfaced showing him attacking her through a hotel hallway. Yikes. So now that Diddy's legal team says everything was consensual, they're painting this as swinger lifestyle gone messy. And yeah, they admit that some relationships were toxic, but criminal, absolutely not. That's all I wanted to say today. That's all I wanted to say today. It's going to be a federal case, so it's not going to be live streamed, but whenever we have some updates, we are going to talk about it.
Yeah, we better.
Yeah.
Here's a weird thing about the whole Diddy party thing and all that weird shit, right? With the oil and the bathing and all that, right? Yeah, I mean, consensual. If they want to argue that shit, that's some weird shit, bro. Do you really want to be that guy online known as for like the Diddy parties and the oil and all the weird shit? Is that really what you want?
I guess Diddy done them for years.
Yeah. Federal mayhem
But
with. Hold on, can
I'd like to.
go ahead. No, go.
I'd like to know like if there is victims and what they have to say like in court, because if there isn't good victims with good evidence, then they're gonna have to just say they were just swinging.
That's yeah. Real quick, federal mayhem with the European 10. Cafe time, let's go. Time to kick back and relax. You're damn right it is. So you had all these people, right? Because you had like your Justin Biebers, your Ushers. I think The Game, even the rapper The Game even came out. There's a lot more to the list. But just what happened and just the weird shit that happened to them when they were minors, alone that is criminal, right? Allegedly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the whole alleged thing is. But
I hope they talk out in court about it.
I doubt
sure.
I doubt they will, just
I
because of
know.
image. But I think it would show some type of strength if, like, these pop culture icons even came out. You know, to me, it would strengthen other victims to potentially come out that look up to them. You know, it's kind of like, you know, my pop star hero that I love their music. You know, they're also a victim. You know, like me. If they're coming out, maybe I can also come out. You know what I mean? There would be
definitely do a lot of good.
Yeah, there would be more good than harm, I think. But you know, pride is a motherfucker. I'm just gonna say that too. But yeah. We're going to get into this thing we call a show, and let's try to make it happen, shall we? So go ahead and give them what they want. Beans started out. This is a normal thing. You think they want it?
What? They want what?
The Daily Espresso. Should we do it or should we skip it today?
How can we skip the Daily Espresso? Plus, according to the Daily Espresso, we also have our shameless plug, and I have a couple of things I want to show the audience.
Oh, shit. You got some shit in the store, Beans? Oh, shit. Let's find
Some
out.
shit from the store.
Let's find out.
But real quick, we have Cade Nubs. Welcome to Band World. Thank you so much. We appreciate every single one of the coffee cult that comes out, especially on a Monday, especially when we are all sick and tired and we do not want to get out of bed. But it is 10 a.m. and we're going to have to.
Damn right. So let's go ahead and get this thing shared. As you can see, the babies are up and about. Those beaks are starting to get yellow, right? Maturity is starting to happen at this point. It is awesome. Let me see if we can get
They're precious.
Oh yeah. So we've been following them since they were literally babies in the egg, like not even hatched yet. That's how long we've been following them. Yeah. It is awesome.
Are they American Eagles?
Yeah, they're bald eagles.
Bald eagles?
Yep. So as you can see,
they're not bald yet.
nah, definitely not. But as you can see, they got some wet conditions right now. You know, they're good time for a bath, I assume, right? So, Beans, I'm going to show off this merch. You tell me what you want me to show while you tell the audience.
What I want you to show is the Ken and the Beans cup. Look, I have your cup bigger than mine, so it looks like us when we're in real life, you know?
That's
Big
fucking
cup,
amazing.
little cup.
That is amazing. So, yeah, guys,
Wow.
as you can see on the screen, get your I Can't cup with my beautiful face on it, just like the shirt, because I can't. And then you can get Mrs. Beans, spill the beans, because she loves doing that. But, you know, obviously the coffee is awesome. I am personalizing every single one, giving a thank you note to whenever you do buy the coffee. We greatly do appreciate it. And then obviously have your hoodies, right? The iconic hoodie that all the shows have. Make sure you grab that with the cafe logo on it. Show your support for the coffee cult. Last but not least, we got the t-shirts. You know, obviously I can't. The one I'm wearing right now, it is awesome. It is beautiful. The fit is damn near perfect. Just going to say that. And just like Miss Bean said on her show, you have to get the cafe shirt in brown. You just have to. That's the only way it looks good, in my opinion. Just saying. But we got other stuff. Miss Beans is rocking the hat, right? Let's go ahead and show it off, Miss Beans. You are full screen. Let's show off that cafe hat. That is awesome.
I gotta rock the whole chola look. It has to be the eyeliner and the hat. Very 2012/13-ish right now.
Oh, 100%. And the best part is, since she has a green screen, the bill is green, so you can see through it at the moment. So that's what makes it. That's really what makes it. And I got my other shirt, but just saying, guys, make sure you get in that store. Make sure you support your coffee cult and your cafe cavalry. So,
I like that the hat is flat billed. It's gonna look awesome.
oh yeah, they did a great job with the merch. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. They did
Yeah.
a phenomenal job. But before we delve into this content too deep, I want to go ahead and get the wheel of death out the way that Beans set up. Miss Beans, I'm getting tortured. Some weird shit. I don't know. Care to explain what you got me doing?
So, you said you wanted to take care of the whole Hassan and Ethan thing, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. It is a very interesting thing. But we need some way to get the donos up, right? And I don't want to be sitting here like, if you enjoy the content, make sure you tip your waitress or waiter, baristo, I don't even know. But yeah, I was thinking like a way to get the donos up. So I was thinking, let's do a little wheel of torture, if you will. So in this wheel, there's A1 sauce, there's ranch, there's mayo, there's cinnamon,
Oh, God.
and role reversal. So either I have to be like you, or I have to be like Sweet Tea. She has to be like, either or. We just have to switch. We have to pretend like we're one another. Or what is the other one? The other one is super chat choice. So the next super chat that pops up, they get to tell us exactly what they want us to do.
So is this TTS or any super chat? How's this work?
We can do TTS. I think that would be fair.
Yeah, me too. If you're going to torture me, guys, I want to hear you talk to me at a minimum. If you're going to torture me, so that's what the deal is. Let us know what you want us to do, how you want us to get tortured. What can we do for your amusement, so that way my guts can be destroyed like they were last week for 3 fucking days, shitting my brains out while I'm trying to work.
You poor thing.
Oh, it was so fucked up. The bro that survived literally destroyed my insides single-handedly. That's why I can't. All right.
Oh my goodness. I dread when I have to do this stuff.
Wait, this?
I'm sure it's coming, just like anything, any punishments and stuff.
Oh, it's part. So I was anti all that shit, but then I learned, you know what? Just roll with it. Just roll with it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But the daily horoscope for those born on May 5th, if you know somebody born May 5th, or if you were born May 5th, you may want to pay attention. So, a Taurus born on May the 5th is verbal, imaginative, and not at all shy about expressing their opinions. Were you born on their beans?
Excuse me?
Huh? I'm kidding.
What are you trying to say?
That you're verbal, imaginative, and you're not at all shy about expressing your opinions. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, people say that my face is louder than my words. If I don't say something, my face will. And that's like the worst part about me. I can't lie. I can't.
I have those facial expressions too that I can't hide.
Not calling y'all this, but isn't there something called like resting bitch face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
You
Continuing.
constantly look angry. Like your eyebrows are kind of. I think it's people with eyebrows that are like his kind of.
It's the cleavage. The cleavage gives it away. Remember that. So they are extremely talkative in an animated manner and their personal trademark. They are good listeners, and despite their chatty reputation, can keep a secret better than most. Definitely not Roxy at this point. Is that what we're saying? Do we all agree in that? We're not Roxy and hold no secrets back. Good job, Roxy. I can't. All right. Clip of the day. I have no idea what this is. It says music. I hope it ain't copyrighted. Let's see what it is. Yeah, I'm scared. It could be copyrighted. So, the quote of the day. Every day may not be good.
Wait.
What?
Did you open it?
I did. And there was a dude listening to it. And I'm like, what if he's playing copyrighted music on the piano?
No, he's not playing copyrighted music.
Yes, he is.
He's an autistic.
What? Imaginative and talkative and creative? Talk to me.
Well, it's an autistic boy who produces beats because, there's people with autism that autism literally is their superpower. Like, they have perfect pitch, or they can produce beats out of nowhere, or they're just very artistic, more than more
God,
than other people. But
that was a rough.
that's
Beats.
basically all it is. This is produced by him, and if we get copy struck, then we could just cut it out. Nobody cares.
That's fair. So real quick, RZ the Legend, I just want to get this out the way, 9.99. Conspiracy theory. I think Keem gave Boogie control knowing he would ruin it. He's probably laughing maniacally behind the scenes. I could easily see that.
Yeah, I could too.
Appreciate you, RZ. You're beautiful. All right, let's listen to this non-copyright beat this guy made.
Sounds like Kanye.
That's why we're getting copyright.
Oh my god.
Okay, enough of that.
That was good.
I give him credit. He's better than me. I couldn't do it. You know
I
what's
couldn't either.
You know what's awesome? Just like he does
What?
beats. You know what I mean? Michelangelo. I think he said he's autistic. I wonder what his superpower is.
Mike. Oh, I thought you meant the real one for a
Annoying
second.
people?
That's no
I'm
S-
joking.
SSO Michelangelo.
I got it the last second. I was thinking the guy that
No, you
painted
didn't.
the 16
No, you didn't.
jackals.
No, you didn't. God. All right.
Have y'all ever watched My Name Is Earl?
Long time ago.
And that's what a lot of people are comparing Grimm to now. Well, he got a haircut recently, but yes.
Oh, he got a haircut.
There's a scene in My Name Is Earl where he tells the brother he's like did something like painted something, and he said, "Well, Mom and Dad always said you were a little artistic," and I always
That's
thought that
cute.
was so funny.
That's funny. All
I
right.
love buns.
I'm going to do a quick rundown of sports. Knock this out. It ain't going to be long, and we can move on. Okay? So, in the awesome boxing match, Canelo Alvarez beat William Skull in a decision. You know what I mean? Which has set up his mega fight with Terrence Crawford on September the 12th. I don't think y'all understand how significant this fight is that they are going to do. I really wish Canelo Alvarez fought Jake Paul to humble that little motherfucker, but hey, who am I to say? In baseball, the Cardinals beat the Jets I didn't even type it out. Cardinals beat somebody 5-4. The Tigers destroyed the Angels at 13-1. The Giants beat the Rockies 9-3, just destroying teams. I don't know what's happening. The Diamondbacks beat the Phillies 11-9. The Rays beat the Yankees 7-5. The Brewers beat the Cubs 4-0. The Cardinals beat the Mets 6-5. The Padres beat the Pirates. How about them Padres?
Padres.
4-0. And then last but not least, the Twins beat the Red Sox 5-4. No, we're not going over soccer. We're not going over soccer because it's way too much. Jets beat the Blues 4-3, winning their playoff series. And now to where my heart is broken, the NBA, because everybody hates me. So the second round will now be OKC versus the Nuggets. That will be either interesting or a slaughter. We don't know which one. We got the Timberwolves, fuck my life. The Timberwolves that beat my Lakers. They're now up against Golden State because the Warriors beat the Rockets 103-89 to clinch that 7-game series. We have the Cavaliers and the Pacers in their round, and the Pacers beat the Cavs for their first playoff loss. Guys, no one saw this coming. No one at all saw this coming because the Cavs are just so damn good. I can't. And then last but not least, the Knicks and the Celtics. I think Celtics are going to mop the fucking floor with them, but we'll see what happens. All right, that's it for you sports.
Wait. Because there was also something very important when it came to boxing. We have Ryan Garcia filmed in tears after his fight, his loss with Rolly Romeo. So this guy, he has a big ego, right? Talking big shit. And then he lost, and then people filmed him in his car shedding his little boy tears. So this is a great lesson to all of you. talk shit, get hit.
Basically. Ryan Garcia.
The car we watched on Friday?
Yeah, the Batmobile. He rolled up in the Batmobile.
He lost.
Yeah,
he did lose. I did put it in the the live on air chat if you wanted to pull that up real quick and just show his little weeping face in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if I showed up in that car too and lost.
I feel like Ryan Garcia's a clown, so I just don't even pay attention to this dude.
Oh.
So yeah, Riley.
Fighter.
Yeah, so he beat Riley Romeo beat him because he left after he lost to Tank, right? And this is him in his van crying his little eyes out. Little boy got humbled, and that's beautiful. He was supposed to retire from boxing after the fight, but after his last fight with Tank. But I mean, look what happened, right? But I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this guy. He's a little too egotistical at his young age, and he thinks he can't be beat. And he got humbled real quick. And now he's crying in a van down by the river.
Oh.
So that kind of wraps that up.
Poor guy.
So over the weekend, LCU did their little stream. And Boogie and Rastolph were supposed to do to 8 hours, but it went to 12. Or a little shy of 12. You made an appearance, Sweetie. How do you think that went?
I came on twice. They didn't let me stay very long, but I thought that Rastolph should have been mediating more with Boogie. Like Boogie was talking the most, like towards the middle and the end, and Rastolph was just like laying back. He was sleeping at one point. Rastolph was.
Well,
and like Boogie was tearing CD-ROM a new asshole, and I thought Rastolph should have been mediating that for sure.
Well, I feel like CD-ROM kind of needed his asshole tore up by Boogie, literally and figuratively. I'm just kidding. But I think that, since he's new, he needs to get broken in a little bit. He needs to get yelled at, needs to get, like, tortured, whatever you want to call it. Just to kind of break him in and understand what's really at stake at this point, right?
Boogie was trying to explain to him, like, what all about his religion was messed up, and then Boogie went around and said that he had the same religion. It was just stupid.
Yeah, we don't talk.
I was like,
we don't talk.
I was
about
thinking
that
all the arguments you made against him could be made against you. Like that's. I wish CD-ROM would have thought that at the time and said it.
Yeah. So Roxy made an appearance, and she finally, I guess, apologized for all the shit that happened. Beans,
was fun to watch.
Are you aware about all this?
It was fun to watch.
No.
All right. So you know how Roxy got fired and like kicked out of Discord or whatever for lying?
Of course. Today is supposed to be the last decision that Sally is supposed to make for her career, right?
Yeah.
Unless something else happened.
Yeah, so over the weekend, Xylee confronted Roxy on live, and they talked about some shit. Xylee evidently has an entire Google Doc of all the lies, all the stories, all the bullshit she said, and she said she's already made her decision, and she doesn't mind being the bad guy. That's what Xylee said. So, like you said, I saw the thumbnail for Milkers today, and I believe it's going to be announced what the decision is. There is talks, however, that she thinks, or people think, I should say, Keem's going to reverse that decision regardless, right? So, because who's really ever fired? You know what I mean? Because everyone thinks she's a great entertainer. Everyone thinks that she brings a lot to the table. Some people even say she carries Milkers on her own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But I just want to play.
She definitely
Go ahead.
Put in the work to be here for sure.
Yeah. So, Jesus, I got jump scared when I saw her face, guys.
Oh my gosh!
Not for real. Imagine pulling up a thing and that's the first thing you see. That's a jump scare waiting to happen. That's all I'm saying. No offense to you, Roxy. All right, so let's go ahead and play this real quick. We're just gonna play a few things from LolCal Live just to kind of update everyone that didn't see the entire 12 hours, and then we're gonna get into the other content. So let's go ahead and make it happen.
All right.
The truth and list exactly why you think me and Keem are upset with you and apologize for it. And if you can do that, it's going to go a long way, I think.
I'm sorry for panicking when people started sending me money, and I just said that The only thing I knew to say at the time is that don't send me money because I didn't want to. I don't even know how to say it because I just felt bad. I should have said Keem already paid for it. But I said Keem is the one that wanted me to, rile Jaffe and them up. And I shouldn't have said that. And I'm sorry.
Do you not understand? Do you understand why people are upset with you? Because I don't think you do. Okay, my grandmother had Alzheimer's too, so I get it.
Yeah, they talk about she's getting stages of Alzheimer's, whatever. No one cares about that. So, according to her, right? I don't know if y'all heard this, but D Money, a Crown, or what used to be a Crown, offered to pay all of her expenses, all of them. So what she was saying is the reason she came out and said what she said was she didn't want people to send her a bunch of money or to start buying her all this stuff to go when, I guess, according to her, she was never supposed to go in the first place.
Did she have like her Cash App stuff? Like people already knew how to send her money?
I have no idea. I honestly don't.
I don't understand why she had to say it publicly and not just to him, like, oh, I've already got the money, or just anything, just privately to the guy.
I don't know. So the funny part is they actually tried to convince her to get a tattoo as punishment because of what Boogie went through. We all know what Boogie went through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just play the clip. I'll let them say it. It's better coming from them. I keep killing the share screen. Good job, Ken. God, I'm terrible at this.
We could get it on your face and hide it in one of those giant fucking wrinkles you have.
I fucked up. I will tell you right now. Listen to me. I fucked up. I am so sorry. I will get, and I'm even going against my husband right now. Me and my husband are thinking about separating. I'm even doing this to go against my husband. I will get a fucking.
Now, I'm going to say something real quick. If that's true, I would not broadcast that at all. Right? Y'all would never know if I'm getting a divorce. Like, I'm telling you that right now. Y'all will never know because that's just way too personal.
Yeah.
Because, people can be intrusive or whatever. But I don't know, man. I just don't agree with it. That's just me. As far as Beans and Grim go, that's up to them and how they want to handle it. Because you're both here, right? So it's a little different than everybody else. But I'm telling you right now, y'all motherfuckers ain't never going to know if I'm getting a divorce. Never going to happen. Let's continue.
Tattoo anywhere on my body.
That?
Just not my face. Just not my face. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, Roxy, you are a leaker. And Roxy, you are a liar. But you're an entertaining one. And so I'm taking away Xylie's option to make the decision. And I'm making the decision instead. So, do you know what we do with liars around here?
Yeah. He promoted her to the vice president, whatever the fuck. That didn't really mean anything. So, where is... Yeah, so RZ the Legend again with the $4.99. The right decision is the most entertaining one. In other words, the one that causes the most drama and issues. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, if Becky could get by with all the times she's done similar things, and Roxy should get a chance too.
Yeah, I can see that. Beans, you're quiet. What you got?
I'm just taking in everything that's happened. I didn't even see live, so this is information for me.
Oh,
I'm basically the viewer at this point.
Oh, so you didn't see anything? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, all right. It's a long.
Ken, do you think I'm fucking lying when I say I don't watch LCU content anymore?
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is it's a 12-hour stream. So how the fuck am I supposed to know if you watched it or not? Like there's 12 hours of content, Beans. You didn't see 1 minute. Is that what you're telling me right now? You didn't see one fucking minute. God,
nope, I do my show and I leave. I didn't touch grass.
Madhouse, but I clicked on it for a minute just to see what was going on. But life was crazy. There was like segments of it. They were just doing different crazy stuff all night. It was fun though.
Yeah, I don't know. So apparently Roxy had another job offer. And she said she turned it down to do YouTube.
What?
She had another in real life job offer and she turned it down for this?
Yes.
No.
This. That the schedule changes all the time, that you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow or not. She turned down a stable job for this.
Oh my god.
Keep in mind, she's also stated that she needed health insurance for her husband and all this stuff, and they got other shit going on. They just bought a house. She said that. But I don't understand why anyone, especially if her situation is as true as she says it is, would turn down a real job for this.
That's insane.
I don't know.
That's almost unbelievable.
Some people want to put their all into this and it's come 100% steamrolled into it. Milkers is sometimes, I guess, the number 3 or 4 show, however you want to look at it. So I guess it is good money. But again, I don't know. That's not up to me. I don't know her life. That's her decision. So Xylee came in to confront her about the consequences, direct messages that they had back and forth. We went over that on Saturday, I believe. But let's go ahead and hear what they had to say. Or
5 or 6 times before.
Jesus, I can't do this.
5 or 6 times before I even got
Did
back
he put
here.
a gun to your head and make you not respond back to him?
I was drunk, and I'm saying I just happened to open his thing. He helped me a lot.
Bitch, you better respond back.
Listen,
bitch,
he helped me a lot. He helped me with Discord. He sent me tons of things. He did. Listen, I haven't talked to him in about a month.
Well, that's weird because last night when you sent all that stuff to Scully to send me, you told her that you don't talk to him.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in about a month. That's what I'm saying. So when he got back to me, I seen all what he said.
And that's why I call you a liar, Roxy. That's why I call you a liar. You literally went from telling him I adore you to telling Scully. Wait a minute, Roxy, let me talk. You literally went from telling him that you adore him to telling Scully that you don't talk to him.
I don't talk to him. I don't. I spent a month since I talked to him.
Done, big shot.
All right, y'all got the point. So she was in consequences messages talking about all this shit. She claims that he reached out to her first. Everything was leaked already, so there's really no point in it. We also know Roxy loves to lie and twist things and, all that. So when her back is in a fucking corner with Xylee yelling at you, she's going to say the first thing that comes to her head to try to exonerate her, right?
Yeah.
But
Xylee was, at one point, Roxy was talking about how Xylee was, like, talking shit about her or something at Fat Camp. And then Xylee came in and was like gaslighting her, like, "Oh, I never talked bad about you," and then eventually admitted to it, and then was like, "Well, I can say whatever I want." And I was thinking, well, that was weird.
No,
I say you were talking shit then.
I get that, but again, I think that's just being defensive, right? I think that's being defensive and trying to say anything you can to get the spotlight off of you. That's kind of what I think, but it is what it is. So
that's true.
They talk more about bullshit. Boogie and Desi talk about their trying to have a baby. No fucking shocker, right? But
they are.
I guess we can watch that.
No shocker, they are.
I love you, Rasta.
Seems like a shocker to Sweet Tea.
I love you, Rasta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Boogie's never had a kid this far. I doubt he wants one now.
Yeah, well, I mean, at 50 years old, how potent are those shooters, right? That's all I'm saying.
Pretty damn potent.
He can teach. Yeah, he can teach the baby how to have a tantrum. He does that pretty well. I don't know what else he can teach him.
There's a man in my family whose father was like 76 when he gave birth to him.
I do.
Jesus.
76.
Yeah,
and he already had 20 kids. So it's definitely possible.
Fuck that. They can have that shit. All right, let's check this out.
I love you, Rasta. Yeah.
I know you do. You want to know who's not pulling out? Me.
Ew. Say those kinds of things.
No, I have an exciting announcement.
Oh God, what?
Me and Desi are trying to get pregnant. It's official. I talked it over with her mom. And her mom said sooner is better than later.
They aren't even married.
Weird.
They're not even.
Yeah, they're.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they're not married yet. And then the other thing is that you talk about that with her mom. That's kind of weird. Like, hey, we're going to be fucking. You want a grandchild.
Yeah.
She's so young, too. I wouldn't wish that on nobody.
Yeah, no. And the way I see it is, like, obviously I'm a big proponent of the nuclear family. Like, I've always been, like, for that, massive supporter of that. But
yeah,
you should be married and all that before you do that, But
especially if you're going to plan to have a baby, that's just so what's it called? Irresponsible.
Yep. So evidently, Boogie gave us a new manager that has yet to show up. He hired a manager for Cafe and Milkers. How does that make you feel, Beans?
All right, so
well, they did that with Becky, and Becky was here for like what, a day, 2 days, max.
Two, yeah. She did 2 streams, or she watched one stream, came in, bullshitted, face in one stream, and then gone. But whatever.
I was watching Queens around that time, and she was acting like she was doing the most over here at that time.
Yeah. I mean, she brought us in some viewers and some donos. Like, I can't deny that, right? Wherever she goes, she brings viewers and donations. Like, it just is what it is. Y'all know I hate the bitch, and I'm her number 1 hater, but I got to give her credit where it's due.
She definitely gets the talent.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right, so okay, so Xylee is back in charge of Cafe.
What?
Let Xylee get back at Cafe. I'm assuming that means you're back on Cafe. I guess.
Xylee is managing Milkers. Billy is managing Cafe. They both have firing power. They can do whatever they want to.
Okay, Exile just paid for fucking YouTuber role.
All right. So Billy the Fridge is apparently, according to Boogie, our new manager. Appears.
Wait, I love that.
Oh yeah, but apparently that didn't last long. Obviously, Boogie. I mean, sorry, wrong word. Billy isn't here right now because he was at the Madhouse thing. He's traveling, whatever. I highly doubt any of this is real at this point because Keem came in with the fire. Keem came in and basically the shit all over this because Boogie was handing out mod left and right. Like if you did a TTS donation, he was giving YouTuber mod out. He claims it was just standard moderator, but Keem was pissed off about all like these like 10 million wrenches in the chat. He was even saying if you become Boogie was saying if you become a crown, he'll give you Discord mod, which blows my fucking mind just because there's a lot of shit that goes on in the background that just does not need to get out. So the fact that he's saying if you give me $500, I'll give you access to all this shit. Definitely not the play, guys. Definitely not the play. But
you couldn't do anything that he even said that stream because he kept saying shit and taking it back and saying another thing and taking it back. So nobody knows what's going on, really.
Sounds like a typical day in the LCU.
Definitely. And I think what he was trying to do, this is my own personal opinion, because he alluded to this later on in the stream. He said that he was just trying to make it entertaining. He was just trying to keep the shit stirred, just trying to make this like a crazy place for the weekend so people would be entertained. That's really all he wanted to do, right? I genuinely believe that is true. I genuinely believe that he was just trying to cause a little bit of chaos, get people talking, keep people invested while Keem was gone. If that is the case, the dude did a good fucking job.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Maybe a little too good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Keem shows...
He definitely kept us entertained the whole time. He was on it from start to finish.
Obviously.
Yeah, so... I don't know.
He called into the stream last night?
I think he sent a voice note. I'm not 100% sure because I didn't see this part, but I remember he talked.
I didn't either.
But let's get into it.
All right.
Boogie. Obviously, I've been lied to from the Discord, from the fans, saying you're doing a great job. I was wondering why we had all these extra moderators. I went back and saw a clip of you giving mods to people for donating. Idiot. You're not canceling any shows. You're not promoting any other people.
I already did.
When I get back on Monday, the only one that's in trouble and the only one that's potentially fired is you, fat ass. I told you the worst thing about having power is having power.
It is.
Watch this one, Joji.
That's cool. So it looks like Lolcow Live's going to be the Keem and Rastov show. That's going to be interesting. I don't know how the fuck that's going to go.
Stupid fat fuck. You're so retarded, Boogie.
God, we love John. That's beautiful. All right. So I guess we'll see what happens on Lolcow Live. Apparently, Booger's in trouble.
When is Boogie not in trouble?
I know, right? So, Beans, with everything you've gathered, everything that happened, everything you know about what happened, what do you truly think will happen?
What will happen? Well, throughout the day, when it was the weekend, I was looking at the Discord every once in a while, and what I saw is Keemstar would jump in, say, "Wow, Boogie, you're doing such a great job. I see all these people with new profile pictures of you. That means everybody admires you." And then, like, everybody will complain, and then he's like, "Oh, wow, Boogie, I see everybody with new names I didn't even see in the Discord before because Boogie changed their names to something if he didn't like them, you know?" So in general, it seems like Boogie has gotten off the deep end. He went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it came to power. And now it just seems like maybe Keemstar's going to come back. Like Midnight Rider just said, whatever the script says will happen, LOL. So yeah, they're probably going to think of some plot or some plan to make it seem like, "Oh, Boogie, you're gonna have a punishment for everything you've done in the Discord. You caused chaos, and now we're gonna have to right your wrongs, blah, blah, blah." You know, the typical shit.
Yep. So what about Roxy? What do you think is going to happen with Roxy?
Roxy, however, I don't know. It depends on if she cries or not, because it seems like Keemstar really has a soft spot for women that cry. So if she cries, maybe it'll go better for her. If she doesn't cry, it'll go worse. I think we've seen that before. So get those lubricants ready for your eyes, Roxy. Just,
you know what's actually funny about that? Keem even said, like, when it comes to women, he has like a soft spot and he kind of like falls for the crocodile tears and all that shit to give chances. That's why he put Xylee in charge of it. Keem is a little self-aware, I guess, when it comes to that issue. But because, like, when it comes to like dudes, bro, he'll go in like a motherfucker. He just does not.
Noticed.
He does not give a fuck. Right, but
yeah, I've noticed.
Yep.
But that's good. I mean, he's a gentleman.
Nah, he is. He is. All right. So that basically covers that one. I mean, one last thing I wanted to show before we get into the craziness is, Sweet Tea, you made the Reddit.
What'd I do?
Evidently, Buff Weeb, when he came in to talk to you, the title is Buff Weeb vouches for Sweet Tea and instantly regrets it. That's what it says. I want to watch this because you have a right to know that you made the Reddit, right? So
yeah,
let's go ahead and get into
exciting.
I wouldn't. It's not always good if you make the Reddit because Reddit is a cesspool. But let's check it out. Let's see what happened.
I just want to come over here and tell people, like, look, legit, the reason why people keep calling Sweet Tea racist is because she has the bumfuck country accent, and that's literally it. Segregation is a word. People are allowed to make jokes. Go back and watch Richard Pryor. Go back and watch George Carlin. Stop being so uptight, you weird people. I know what you guys search on the hub, you weirdos. And that's it. It's been a wild diesel. I mean, AKA one Buff Weeb appearance. I will go now. I love you guys. Goodbye.
Later, bro.
I want to tell y'all something.
So
Tell me something.
Tell us.
My mom told me when she was a kid, when she was learning about slavery, that she went home to tell her mom, she's like, Mom, can we get a slave? So she's like, why do you want a slave? And my mom said, because I want to play with them. And she always thought that was so funny.
That's wild.
That's just kids not knowing like
Exactly.
what is actually happening.
I know.
But in general, yeah, I think a lot of people, there is some racism when it comes to, you know, general. He came back.
I just came and said this. I just came and did this. Why the fuck would you wait 2 seconds after I leave to start talking about asking your mom for a fucking slave? You know what? You're on your own.
My mom asked my grandma for a slave.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell him that, but he jumped out before I could get it out.
Yeah. So
my mom didn't know much about African Americans. She's, we lived in the South for a long time, especially when she was a kid.
Yeah. Let's just steer away from that. Just don't talk about things like that because perception is a motherfucker, right? And that's all I'm gonna say.
I know it. I need to keep my mouth shut.
Gives her a little spice, a little bit of, a little spice, a little sweet tea spice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go over the hate comments and you were here, Beans, and I apologize for that because it is about both of us, right? But I just thought it was hilarious that we would go over it. But you have the right to be here because this is about both of us. I profusely apologize to you, right? I shouldn't have done that. So we're going to do it now.
Aww.
We're going to go over them now. And
I thought wait. Okay, wait. That's fine.
All right. What was that? What was that? Mazer, drink the Cranch, Ken. TTS, motherfucker. TTS, and I will.
What the frick is the Cranch?
Ketchup and ranch.
That nasty.
Hell
that
yeah.
nasty.
It definitely is. All right, guys, I'm going to do a goal to shave my head because I need a haircut very badly, right? The balding is starting to
Don't
really
need
show.
a haircut.
I do need a haircut.
Say, I don't want a haircut.
Nah, I don't want to go bald because I don't know if this shit's going to grow back, right? I always do.
Yeah.
I always do the bald fade with the 2 on top, right? The ultimate, what used to be called like fuckboy or whatever was like a term for like players and shit. The ultimate haircut for that. You know, I've been called that a couple times in my life, but that doesn't matter anymore. So this is what we're going to do, guys. What we're going to do 15 20s by the end of the stream, and I will shave my head next episode.
Ooh.
Have Buff Weeb in the chat saying, no, don't do it.
All right. And also,
you guys can be bald buddies.
And also,
yeah.
And also keep in mind, if you do donate the TTS, we will also get the spin, right? So you're getting a twofer. You're getting a twofer.
2 for 1?
Yep. So, just saying, guys, we got an hour and 8 minutes. Let's see what happens. All right. So, let's go over these hate comments, because I think that, whatever. Let's check it out. All right, Beans. Such a lame show. This is like your grandma's show, boring, and Beans trying to be mean is such lame, boring. What's your response to that, Mean Beans? Are you being mean? Are you being a grandma? Are you being a snooze fest, Beans?
Well, what I have to say to that is that this person needs to learn some punctuation because that's a really weird sentence to freaking try to read. But yeah, this was like in the early, we haven't gotten the new comments yet, the new hate comments, because since it's the first time we're doing this, by the way, you forgot the segment card, Ken. We're trying to up the production here.
Oh, here we go. Let me show it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I need the one with the music. That's my bad. All right, but that's
such a lame show. This is for your grandma show. Boring. Beans trying to be mean is such lame, boring. So this was in the beginning of, not the beginning, but more earlier on when it came to the cafe. And people think that, oh, if you try to be mean or if you show a different side of you, then it's first scripted and 2, just like lame, because now they gotten so used to being a certain way that if you change slightly, people are just like, oh, I don't like this. So it's like either I'm Mousy Beans, the one that never talks, right? Or I'm the one that's a little bit more heated and I'm Mean Beans, or I'm just my fucking self and I can say whatever the fuck I want. So either I'm being too mean or I'm too nice or I'm too quiet. Either way, people are not going to be happy. Because yesterday, Xylee was doing a tier list, right? And in the tier list, she's like giving her own opinions, but she'll give people a little bit of variety, right? So she's like, I think this person is a blank, but I'll do blank, blank, and blank for like the poll that she was doing. And a lot of people from Rewind don't like me. And I was waiting on that one hater that will throw like enormous amounts of money just to get me like to the bottom, absolute bottom for no fucking reason. He was not there. I was very, very disappointed. I was hoping they would like throw money at Rewind because that's like the best thing ever, right? Throw money just because you're filled with so much hate. Hate money is the best money.
100%.
Like look at freaking Becky. She's rolling in it along with her trash. So yeah, let's continue on because I'm sure that's not the only one about me.
Yeah, so...
Was that the bottom? I don't even remember.
So real quick, Ken reacts to Becky the same way he reacts to a Chucky doll. I ain't scared, motherfuckers. I promise you I ain't scared. I just hate the bitch. Totally different. Totally fucking different. What else we got?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, Beans sucks so bad. Zay sucks, but Beans is non-tent and just a DEI Karen. Beans needs more energy for the host role while Ken doesn't have any. It would be funny as fuck putting Jaffe and Xylee and Jaffe on cafe punishment content. Yeah, I mean...
She would never.
Yeah, I mean, I know I need more
That'd be
energy.
fine.
I've been trying to bring more energy to the show, right? So all we can do is be better, but she would never do that. I 100% agree with you, ladies. That would be torture, especially at 10 a.m. Jesus, that'd be torture.
especially with everything else that's happened. I know you think that Reddit is a cesspool, but Reddit is where you can get like the pithy answer to what's happening in the LCU. And lately what's been happening is Billy talking about Madhouse. I saw that in the Reddit recently. And Jaffe talking about Xylee and her realness. And whew, there's going to be a lot of drama today.
Yep. So if y'all don't know, Billy went solo stream and literally just called out Madhouse like a motherfucker yesterday. Oh, it was fucking beautiful.
He was like kissing Jaffe's ass just 2 days ago, it felt like.
I wouldn't say kissing his ass. I think Billy just tries to keep peace a little bit, especially when they're trying to learn this new format. Obviously, I don't want to talk for Billy, but I think that trying to have some type of synergy throughout all the shows definitely helps. But
yeah,
when you feel attacked, saying that you're not doing your job right, you know what I mean? And you're going to the boss before you talk to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Where he called Keemstar and snitched that they weren't showing his. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, that would piss me off too.
I can't wait for the show to get scrapped. Ken is the most boring character in the LC universe, with Beans as a close second. That's funny. Beans is a new cook of content. The only entertaining part was Boogie. So I guess that's when you and Boogie were kind of going at it. He was wanting to fire you and blah, blah, blah. Why are you cooking content, Beans?
Oh, I'm cucking the content by making content. That makes a lot of fucking sense. He's the one freaking jumping into our show, just spewing nonsense, not letting anybody talk. But nobody says he's cucking the content. He's making the content, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah, straight up. Pity show full of begging is insane. The new show will go back to 200 viewers in a week. Do we really beg?
We don't. And that's the problem. That's why I'm like, yo, we need to do this wheel. You need to start doing some punishments. We need to start being a little bit more creative. We don't beg, and that is a problem when it comes to the LCU, because we're being forced to beg. You don't see people out here tipping their baristas, right? That's what I like to call it now.
That's a good one.
So nobody tips their barista because they like the content. They want to see people get tortured, and they probably want Sweet Tea to say something a little unhinged to put it on the Reddit. That's all the people care for.
Exactly. But the thing is, Beans, my problem, I'm a very prideful individual, right? I'm very prideful. So for me to just come back, all right, guys, we need to hit this goal. All right, guys, can you go and throw us some money? Hey, guys, we need to get some more memberships. Let me do this dumb shit for, like, you know what I mean? It just, the term,
Continue.
The term grift, you know what I mean, is just, I don't want any part of it. You know what I'm saying? But apparently that's what the formula is right now, Beans, because that's what other shows are doing. Other shows are begging. Other shows have goals they have to meet. Other shows have, like, you know, quotas or whatever the fuck. Yeah. I don't want Cafe to be that, Beans. But the problem is when you got Keemstar threatening to cancel every fucking month, they don't make money. So all these other fucking shows are begging. I get it.
Yeah.
You get it, but it's... my God, this is going to be the realest conversation we're going to have on Cafe so far.
Oh my God, let's do it, Beans. Let's do
it. Saturday. Remember what Grim said. I was literally yelling into my phone, you guys are killing the show, because not only were you turned off, not only were you turned off, but Sweet Tea was kind of turned off, which I understand. She's sick, and I saw you coughing. You're a little sick still, which is like understandable. You're a little sick. You're a little turned off. Ken, if one person is turned off, you have to be the one that brings the energy. Both of you were just dead. And freaking Grim even said, I was playing Cafe, and he was falling more asleep instead of waking up. And I know, like, the whole thing about chill morning show, that's true. But at the same time, we have to be, like, we can be chill, but also energetic. We don't have to be, like, screaming, but we can pump people up, if that makes sense. The dissonance that we have when it comes to communication, I say bring more energy, and you think it's like talk too much or be yelling and screaming, and it's like, no, you don't have to yell and scream to bring energy. Like, me talking like this can seem pretty energetic, but that doesn't mean I'm yelling into my microphone and being like, blah, 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 you know? Like, there's a difference when it comes to stuff like that. Because, for example, yeah, that woke you up, didn't it?
Let me drink some more coffee.
Was bringing the energy.
Let me drink some more coffee. Hold on.
But
that's another thing. I know you don't want to beg and things like that, but you can encourage people to give money, or you can encourage people to give memberships because they like what they're watching, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're not doing it because they don't want to do it, you know, but like encouragement is sometimes a little bit helpful. So if you're like, hey, how many memberships did we get today, Beans? And I'm like, oh, well, we only got one, but I'm pretty sure somebody out there is willing to give another. Like sometimes people just need a little bit reminder of like what to do. For example, we have the freaking wheel. Who does not want to see this big ass freaking Greek god of a man put some ranch down his gullet and make it seem like it's something else? I'm not... Don't clip that. Don't clip that. But,
I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. No. You will not, Beans, you will not get me pretending it's something else. All right, no. Hold on. All right, let's go.
No.
Let's go.
Now, that's another communication issue that we have. I'm not saying make it seem, not you pretend that it's something else, but you know, like just a little branch and there's like a little dribble like right here, you know, like some people are going to be like, ooh, Ken, you know, that not you intentionally doing it, but we know there's some nasty motherfuckers in this chat that's going to twist it that way. And maybe we can have a little sweet tea, but she can be twisted tea every once in a while. Ooh.
That's a good idea.
All right, Beans, check this out. Let's have a real conversation. So here's the thing. When I bring energy and when I want to like amp it up and talk a little bit more, when I think of like your Keemstars or I think of like your Boogies and all that shit, I personally feel like I would look like an idiot. So it stops me, right? I'm like, I'm about to be on camera. I'm about to get clipped. I'm about to be fucking destroyed somewhere. I'm not trying to look like a fucking idiot. I'm fucking Ken. I'm a veteran. I'm a fucking Greek god. I'm a very prideful person. I love who I am, right? So to go out here,
that about you.
But here's the thing: to go out here and try and make myself look like an idiot, right, and make myself do all this like dumb shit, right? It just stops me because I'm like, wait a second, how are people going to perceive me? What if my loved ones see me on their internet doing something dumb and I got ranch going down my mouth and they make a comment to me? Why did you do that? How am I going to answer that, Beans? Right? How am I going to answer that? Right? Be like, Ken, you're so much better than this. We raised you to be better than this. Why the fuck are you doing this shit? That stops me.
Explain this to me.
Hold on. That stops me. Right? So there's a part that I need to let go. There's a part of me that does need to let that go. But the issue is, Beans, I was raised by very prideful people, and I do not want to disappoint. I don't want to disappoint my loved ones to think I've stooped myself down to certain levels to be entertaining. I don't want people to think I'm out here doing this dumb shit and trying to be something that I'm not, or try to appear to be something that I'm not for the sake of entertainment, for the sake of $1, right? That's the disconnect in my head. Now, I'm also a firm believer that if the coffee cult and the cafe cavalry loves us, then they'll donate to us, right? They'll give us memberships. They know. They're not fucking dumb. There's fucking 10, 11 shows on the LCU that do the same fucking thing, begging, right? They beg for donations. They have these members goals. They do all this other shit. They be passive aggressive. They be condescending, and they try to promote this dumb shit. Right, to get memberships, like fucking Boogie. Oh yeah, well if you don't get 100 memberships, Rastof's gonna put barbecue sauce on his face. If you love Rastof, donate memberships. I have a problem with that. I have a true problem with that because the thing is, why are you trying to bait people to do things? I know Keem said you need to flirt with the audience a little bit, bro. I don't flirt. I just go. I just fucking go. I don't fucking flirt. You know what I mean? I don't got time to flirt. You got one life to live, Beans. Why the fuck are you gonna tease and bullshit? You know what I mean? So that's my disconnect. And when you want me to bring the energy, I can be like this if you want. I can be like this all fucking day long. But the problem is when I get like this and I get amped up, I talk too much. I don't give y'all time to talk. And sometimes I can lose track because I'm too worried about what I look like in front of the camera. That is truly, truly my disconnect.
I think that's okay.
And we can work on that. Yeah, exactly. We can work on that. But the thing is, you at least need to try because that's something that we all need to do. Just try a little bit harder. Like, for example, I'm not that very good when it comes to being on camera, apparently, because people think that I'm deer tier worthy, which is fine. But, you know, I try to do different things every single day. But
now I'm hot.
We all need to do, now you're hot. But we need to do something a little different every day and see what works. You throw something at the wall and see what sticks. For example, a lot of people may not think that sweet tea is for cafe, but she could probably work somewhere else where she's a little bit more comfortable. People love when she did that story about her and her grandma or her mom saying to her grandma, like that stuff. People like that shit because they know that there's people in real life that wouldn't ever say that. They would not think about even having that come out their mouth, and you just say it. You say it unapologetically, and that's what makes sweet tea different, right? But
that's what I was gonna say about Ken. I was gonna say I wish I had a little bit more like holding me back, trying to think of stuff like Ken does before I say it.
But see, the thing is that could be to my detriment, right?
Yeah,
it could be to my detriment. And again, it's a disconnect I have, and
we got a whole bunch of mix of people that's got different morals and standings. So,
and the thing is,
we can't all be boogie.
I've spent so much of my life being an asshole, being a prick to people, right? I was a bully, right? People piss me off, I bully them. I'm a big dude. I can fuck with people if they piss me off. But I try to live my life now because I'm almost 40 years old. I try to live my life now as far as chill, be happy, bring good vibes, right? That's what I wanted it to be. But in the LCU, that's not what they need. They need live, energetic, high energy, and constantly going. So I'm trying to figure that out, right? I've resolved myself down to fucking drinking this stupid ass shit that I fucking hate, right? I fucking hate A1 sauce with a passion. God, that shit tore my stomach up. The bro that survived said, how about American cheese and A1 and ketchup? Bro, my stomach was gone. You asked me to do this shit a month ago, I'll be like, fuck you. I'm not about to ruin my insides for some bullshit. So I'm coming around, Beans. I'm coming around, and I'm trying. Mm-hmm. As far as Saturday goes, Saturdays are just kind of like do what you want or whatever, right? And I knew Nightmare wanted to go live. I was like, well, fuck, I need to kind of cut this short so I don't cut his content. This was Sweet Tea's first time in a show. So I wanted to kind of feel her out, see what she was doing, what she bring. That way I knew how to go with it. Because if I'm being energetic as fuck, she does know how to react to me. The show's going to be even worse because I'm trying to string her along if she doesn't know how to react to me. And then it's going to fuck my content up, and then it's just going to be fucked up. I figured Saturday was the perfect time to do that, right? So that was the issue Saturday.
But the thing is that this is also my fault, right? Because Friday was a bad show. I'm just going to say that flat out. Friday, bad show. Was not feeling it. So once we have a bad show and then another bad show right after it, we look bad. And then you coddling, I'm sorry, Sweet Tea, but you coddling Sweet Tea live on air, being all like, oh, you sweet little poor baby, you'll be okay. Locale.co, by the way. It's not gonna get her anywhere because she's not actually feeling out what the LCU is all about. They put her here because they know that we can tease her a little bit. We can throw her around a little bit, not like that. But give her the energy, but we're not like other people. We're not gonna make her do scripted content. We're not gonna freaking throw shit at her face. We do like the silly stuff, but it's like mildly silly. Like, Sweet Tea, can you drink some ranch? That's pretty much like the top humiliation that we're probably gonna make her do, right? But just coddling her and being really sweet to her, like nobody finds that entertaining. Beans, you coddled her too. No, there's a difference. There's a difference between her having some backlash in the Discord and me being devil's advocate to make sure she stays in the LCU so we can train her enough so she can go either stay here or go to a different show. That's different. That's being devil's advocate, and that's also me trying to start shit in the fucking Discord, okay? I'm not like, Sweet Tea, oh my goodness, don't say that. No, I'm like, Sweet Tea, pop off. Say whatever you gotta say. Be Twisted Tea, because everything that you do now, that's exactly what Keemstar wanted. He doesn't want you to be shy. He doesn't want you to be coy. He wants you to be authentically Sweet Tea and say some fucking fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Just know your limitations. Know your limitations. That's all we ask. Fucked up to the point that makes people want to double take, but not enough to want to go after you.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. But no, like I said, I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to do that. I felt Saturday I need to kind of understand how she thinks, how she talks, and all that, because to me that was like a rough.
We had to get to know each other.
Well, here's the thing: it's a rough draft. because this is the first time me and her are literally talking for an extended amount of time, and we're in front of a camera. Right. So I needed a rough draft to understand how she thinks, how she talks, what's going on. So that way, moving forward, I kind of know how to handle it. If I just came in here yelling and screaming and trying to bring energy and she doesn't match it and I got to drag her along in my brain, I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm fucking up somewhere. How do I need to fix this? Whereas if I take a show to figure her out and understand how she works, going forward, it's going to be, I mean, that's fine. That's how I'm a very analytical person, Beans. That's how I think.
That way.
That's just how I am. I can't just throw somebody to the wolves and say, all right, let's fucking do it. That's not how I am. You got a plan. You got to, execute the plan. And then once you learn lessons, when you move forward, it's going to be that much better. I'm an analytical person. That's just how I am, Beans.
It don't make sense to me. Because if you're an analytical person, then you would know that we are not that top when it comes to the shows. And you would know that making the mistake of doing training on a show instead of having a separate meeting and be like, hey, so what are you comfortable with? What can we do? Like that sort of thing. That is more understandable. And then you can do like a trial show, like that sort of thing. But like coddling her like on camera, like that was not. One's in the chat if you thought Saturday was a good show. Two's in the chat if you thought it was not. Wait, did I just say the same thing?
Probably. I don't even know.
Well, if a clip from that show ended up on the Reddit, it must have been somewhat good. Right?
Yeah, because you were being unapologetically yourself. And I'm not saying like it's a horrible show and that you guys are doing everything wrong. I'm just saying that this is a real talk and it's like we need to do better. We need to change some things in order to get those donations, those memberships in general. I'm not trying to sit here and be the fucking asshole, even though I kind of am the asshole of Cafe compared to everybody else, because there's always the bad guy, right? Like the bad guy of Rewind is going to be Xylee because Xylee gets real and she's going to, a lot of people just don't like her in general, but she's the bad guy. If we have to have a bad guy of Madhouse, it's going to be Jaffe because he's Jaffe. If we have to have a bad guy of what's another show that I can think of Milkers, it's going to be Savage because Savage is going to say whatever the fuck she wants and she don't give a fuck. She don't think twice about what she's going to say.
Fair.
There's always going to be a good guy and a bad guy, and I'm not trying to be a bad guy. I'm just trying to be realistic because I want Cafe to be here next month. And I really liked how you were like, you know what? I want to do something different with content. You wanted to do the Hassan Piker and Ethan situation, which I think was really cool.
I also wanted to cover, not today, but later on, the Mudahar drama going on right now with Mama Max and Tommy C. I wanted to cover that also because
I haven't heard of that.
No one is talking about any of this shit outside the LCU, right? I mean, obviously on Locale Live they touched on certain things and show a few things, but that's what I was going to look at. Was that shit going on to show it to the LCU? That's what I wanted to do. Trying to branch out a little bit. When it comes to
I'm excited about that.
When it comes to my on-camera personality, yes, there's some shit I do need to work on. I'll tell anybody that right now, right? I mean, I'm a fucking in every single tier list. I'm either a C or a D, right? Whatever, it is what it is. But like, I can't help how I think of myself, and when it comes to like doing certain things, it's just in me. So I need to figure that out for myself. I know that. But I also don't want to be like everybody else and beg and do dumb shit for donations. People don't need reminders, okay? There's, like I said, there's 10, 11 shows. People don't need fucking reminders on how to donate and give members, all right? They just don't. They know what the deal is. They've been watching this show for long enough. They've seen other shows for long enough. They know what the deal is, Beans, all right? They don't need fucking reminders. What they need is an entertaining show that they're willing to give money to. And, yeah, we pitch the merch and all that other stuff. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, they'll donate to a show they think is good. Now, they may think me and you arguing right now is content, and that's fine. I saw some tick comments. I'm not about to go off. I'm not about to go off on Beans, right? I respect her. We've talked about things, and we understand what it is. And this is just kind of like a behind-the-scenes talk that sometimes we need to have, right? And, nothing against Sweet Tea being here, but I'm trying to figure out this three-way dynamic right now on this show as well. Trying to bounce off two people that we've never really had to do that before. It's always been me and you, Beans. So again, that's also going through my head on how to work that out so all three of us get equal coverage. You know what I mean? While still trying to remember in the back of my head that I talk too fucking much. So there's a lot of shit going on in my head right now, Beans. I'm trying to figure out, trying to give Sweet Tea the best possible situation to talk want to make sure that, you said you didn't watch LC over the weekend. So I'm trying to make sure you understand and get your opinion while I'm also trying to host a show and tell the story. So again, I'm sorry, but there's just a lot of shit going on in my head right now, trying to give the best possible product out there. And if I fuck up, I fuck up. All I can do is get better. But I'm trying. All right, I'm trying, and that's all I'm saying. If I'm not doing it, Sweet Tea, stop. If I'm not doing it well enough, because this is between me and Beans, all right, we got to figure this out. If I'm not doing it well enough, tell me how I can be better. You told me how to be better by bringing the energy and being a little bit more animated, right? And I'm trying to do that. But while trying to figure out all this other shit in my head, it's just a little difficult for me. So I'm sorry. I will try to be better. I just want to make sure everyone gets equal coverage. I want to make sure Sweet Tea is learning from us and doing this thing we call the show. I want to make sure you know the content and what's going on since you didn't get a chance to see it. And then also in the back of my head is I don't want to be like all the other shows trying to like grift and do dumb shit for money. So how can we do it? Right? That's why I even brought the whole cooking thing. That was my difference maker than everyone else. Right? People want to shit talk it. People want to bad talk it. I don't give a fuck. We made good money. The fans enjoyed it. I think it was a great time. Right? But again, I've said enough. Yeah, I think you understand where I'm coming from. I will try to be better. Of course.
Yeah, I'm not saying this to dog on you. And I'm just like letting you know like what's going on in general. And I just, of course, we're not doing this to argue with each other. We're doing this because we want the best for the cafe.
100%.
And the thing that I can say the most, like I know that you say like people don't need reminders, but one of the best shows that we've ever had was that time when Grimm was on. But why? Because he was doing the whole grifting thing, and we don't have to do it like that, but just, a very light reminder of like, hey guys, if you like the content, then make sure that you do like a gifted membership or just donate whatever you can, like that sort of thing. Not go the extreme that Grimm was doing, that he's like, how many memberships we got? How many memberships we got? Oh, that's not enough. Oh, we need to keep them coming. Like that sort of thing. That's a little too much for us. I think that that's not our style. But in general, we do have to kind of adjust our content and try to be a little bit more not e-beggy, but suggestive.
That makes sense. So I guess the problem with me too is I think 0 or 100. I never really think in the middle. I'm a very black and white person, right? There's very little gray area with me. You know that about me probably more than anybody, right? There's very little gray area for me. Either I like you or I hate you. You know what I mean? So, and I'm also very spiteful, which why I said I'm the number one Becky hater. No one's taking that crown away from me. I refuse. But that's beside the point, Beans. I appreciate the talk. I think we can be better from here, and I will try. But just understand, I want to make sure all three of us have a good experience, have a good show, and I just want the best for everybody, right? I want the best for Cafe. I want Cafe to be here next month. There's other shit I need to work on. I'll work on it. I'll try my best. But nothing against you, Sweet Tea, but they kind of threw a wrench at us that we weren't ready for. Let's just be honest. We literally had no heads up, so we really couldn't prepare. Right. And then we had to just keep doing shows. So it is what it is. All right.
It is what it is. And speaking of it is what it is, there is some breaking news in X. Actually, let me see if I could share this actually.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Go ahead and pull it up.
So we have some breaking news from Creator Clash. It says Ian and Anissa have made the difficult decision to fully step away from Creator Clash, both publicly and behind the scenes, and are relinquishing ownership of the event. This decision hasn't been made lightly, but is a necessary step towards the return of Creator Clash to its core purpose, bringing communities together for a night of boxing, fueled by passion, discipline, and the goal of raising money for causes that matter. Since the beginning, this event has been about more than just the fights. It's been about creators pushing themselves beyond their limits, fans rallying behind something positive, and using that energy to do some good in the world. Then it goes on to say, since Creator Clash inception, We've been able to raise meaningful funds and awareness for charities, making real impact. That mission has lost focus in recent weeks, and it's clear that for the event to move forward, things need to change. Basically, blah, blah, blah. If you can read that, I'm going to leave the last part right there. But it seems like the whole Ian situation has made things very bad when it comes to creator clash.
Oh, yeah. And we all know that Content Cop was literally the final nail in the coffin when it comes to this dude. And he's just going like full blown, Hassan Pikard side or whatever. That's a whole nother story. But he came out with this content deputy, I believe, Saturday. And he talked about this a little bit. I'm assuming this is Creator Clash's official statement. But yeah, he didn't do himself any damn favors at all. You know what I mean? So he's an idiot.
Do you know anything about this situation, Sweet Tea?
Yes. Yeah. That second video he did, the second contact cop, where he showed Ethan lying about that denim stream, saying that they were going to call CPS, and then when he got called out by one of the staff members that it was fake, he put his video over the real chat so nobody could tell on purpose, trying to lie that denims was. I thought that was pretty shady.
Yeah.
So I mean, him and Hassan both are just in the wrong at this point, if you ask me.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, people in Hassan's camp did call CPS on him. They did come to his house. They also, I found this out, they sent skulls to his house as well. So they really are fucking with this guy pretty badly. And
Yeah, I watched that Skulls episode.
it's fucked up. But
Yeah. But I mean, he keeps screaming about it.
Yeah. So we got 38 minutes left. Let me dive a little bit into this thing. Remember, guys, if you want us to do some dumb shit on the wheel, go ahead and throw us a TTS. That goes to the goal of, shaving my head. If we don't reach that, I need to go to the barbershop and get a fucking haircut. So if you want to see Bald Ken, make sure you go to that goal. The good thing is TTS, we're going to do dumb shit on the wheel, so it's a twofer. So consider doing that. Also, if you've enjoyed the content, think about becoming a membership. We got Cooking with Ken content as members only. Make sure you go in there, like it. Let me know what you think about my cooking. Obviously, people want to see me do it more, so let us know what you think.
I was thinking you should make a beef Wellington one day on stream.
If we get more crowns and like red donos, I would do that, and that's literally going to be like a pay pig crown only, because that's a very difficult thing to do.
I know it.
That would be like Hell's Kitchen type shit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It would be
100%. So, and I
will. He always makes them make that to test how good they are as chefs. So
I would definitely fuck up the puff pastry. I'm just telling you that right now. I would definitely fuck that up. I'm way too heavy-handed.
That seems like the hardest part.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's get into this thing. So when we left off yesterday, we got into the whole. Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. That fucked me up. The whole content cut that iDubbbz did, and Hassan was in that, obviously, with Frogan and all of them, and there was the sword debacle. Because the sword had the symbol, right? So what people don't realize is, which Ethan brought this up a little bit, is Hassan himself actually called that the sword. And I'm going to play that clip really quick. This is actually from Nicholas.
No way.
Diorio?
Yeah, Nicholas Diorio's stream. I thought I did that. So this is a video of Hassan with the sword, and he's calling it that. It's himself. So complexity with the 99. He uses screaming about it as a wild statement when you're talking about a man who's called CPS, who's had CPS called on his family and skulls sent to his employee. Yeah, exactly.
Well, he was screaming about it before that, is what I meant. I kept poking at Hassan.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's
messy both ways, definitely. I definitely am on more of Ethan's side for sure. I love Ethan. I watch him every single day, but I feel like he's just going too far.
I got
at
you.
this point.
I mean, like I said, it's a nasty situation, and
it is.
It gets political with obviously Palestinian and Israeli, which I'm not really going to touch on the political side because we want to stay away from politics here. But let me get to this clip real quick because we ain't got much longer. And I want to get through this.
All right.
I'm going to do that.
No way, dude. No fucking way. He gestures down toward it. This one's sicker, dude.
That's a little sus.
It's sus, bro. Why is it sus?
That's questionable. Bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It immediately goes for the swastika one. Got
It was on purpose. They did it on purpose. I'm sorry. I think they did it on purpose. That's my personal opinion. They knew it looked like a swastika, and they posed with it. Dude, they did it on purpose. No, that's how I view it now. That's my personal opinion on this. It's a dog whistle. Dude, these guys... Dude, I'm sorry, bro. We've watched videos where people have called me dog whistler and shit like this for...
So y'all get the point. So basically, out of Hassan's own mouth, he called it the S sword. Right. So...
But it is a bleach sword, and they're all right there in anime attire.
I get that, but the thing is, he called it that, so everything else is out the window because that came out of his mouth. Since that came out of his mouth, that is always going to be referred as that sword. So during the debate, Ethan, he said that it wasn't the symbol, but he also said it was, right? So we'll get into that one real quick when they talk about the sword itself.
Picked it up.
So
if I genuinely thought it was a swastika memorabilia, do you think I would keep it in my house?
Dude, you're being so obtuse. I know it's not a swastika, right? And I know you know it's not a swastika, but it is literally a swastika also. Because the difference between a swastika and that Hindu symbol is this. You see what I'm doing? This is the difference. If you ask a Hindu person, would they walk around with the swastika sign?
Wait, so you know it?
Fuck
so you
no, they
it's
know
not
that looks
but
like
you
a
keep calling it
swastika.
a swastika sword. So I'm a little confused.
Ask your Hindu friends if they would walk around with like a swastika brandished.
Yeah, so that's the whole argument, right? Because obviously we all know that they took the Hindu symbol. Beans, do you know what? I think the symbol meant peace or something. Am I correct in that?
Yes. So I actually have somebody who I used to go to high school with. She obviously followed Hinduism, and she had a necklace that had that symbol on it. And she would always get asked time and time again, what does that mean? And she would always say, oh, it means peace. It's not a swastika, right? So in general, yeah, that is the symbol for peace. But she also knew what would come of it every single time that she wore it, right? The thing is, you cannot... Hassan needs to know that if it was anybody else, people are going to say the same exact thing. For example, if it was Sam Hyde, right? Everybody would crucify him for having something like that, no matter where it came from. That's the argument that a lot of people are trying to make,
Yeah, but, Go ahead.
Ethan just said that no Hindu person would be caught dead wearing that symbol. And you said your friend wears it, so it's obviously something that's meaningful to them that they wear with pride.
Well, again, that's like anybody taking any symbol and making it against what it is initially supposed to be, right? Like how many versions of the American flag that are out there that are different colors and all that, and they used it for a purpose to represent something, right? So I don't know. It's a weird thing, but all I'm saying is, right, it is the Hindu symbol turned, and in AH's mind, that's what he wanted. That was his mindset. But the issue is he used violence, genocide, and turmoil to push that narrative because in his world, only certain people were meant to have peace. So he took a symbol, made it a hate symbol by literally turning it, like Ethan said. So it's just not a good look. And I can't speak on Bleach because I don't watch anime, but it is what it is, right? So they go on to talk about a dude named Norman Finkelstein. So Norman Finkelstein he's a political activist whose focus was politics of the Holocaust and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And for context and all that, I'm assuming since he was born, he's Jewish, and he's also born of Jewish Holocaust survivors. Because of that, he's into it, right? That's kind of his thing. So they brought out the quote that he used as far as what the Palestinians say was like over the land and over the sea, Palestinians will be free. I believe
from the river, from the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free. That sort of quote,
Yeah. So they talk about that and what was meant by that one, right? So let's go and get into that because I thought that was important also.
I'm trying to explain the Jewish perspective. I'm not trying to make a value judgment of it. But what I will tell you is that, how do you feel about Norm Finkelstein?
Love Norm. I know he has said that.
Here's what he had to say about this.
I know what he
No,
said.
no, no. I want the audience to see this, Hassan.
Hold on.
Hassan, I want the audience to see this video.
This is not moment for you because I know Norm's
Good. I'm glad you know. Let's let the audience know, Hassan.
You know what I mean?
Hey, Hassan, let the audience watch the video.
I can have a nuanced and reasonable disagreement with a person that I actually admire.
So that's what we're having.
Like Norm. But
so it's nuanced and understandable with Norm. Let the audience watch the video, Hassan.
Okay.
Palestine will be free.
Let me go back. Yeah. Here's the Norm Finkelstein, a prominent figurehead in the Palestinian liberation movement.
I don't like the slogan.
I know. I have more positions that I disagree with him on this as well.
Will be free. I think it's a bad slogan. I know the slogan from the 1960s, the 1970s. It was a bad slogan then, and it's a bad slogan now because it has too much ambiguity. When you say from the river,
someone's gonna hit me with the chair react
to the sea, Palestine will be free. Obviously, a question arises. Okay, what happens to the Jews in that scenario? And some people will say, well, all it's about is everybody being free, but that's not what the slogan says. So,
yeah. So the way I interpreted that, which I could be wrong, but the way I see it is Palestine basically it wants Israel and it wants all of it. They want the Jews out of there so that way they can take over the entire land and have their freedom, as they say. So obviously there's going to be a lot of predominant Jewish people that have a problem with that because of this centuries and centuries long fight that they've been dealing with. So they really don't agree on that one too much. Obviously Hassan says he likes him, but I think that's just BS because of what later comes out in the debate. So I also want to say something else really quick. I had the wrong opinion Saturday when I said about this debate. To me, they weren't really trying to come to an agreement on anything. They were just trying to argue their different viewpoints. I believe what Ethan wanted to do was show Hassan and how idiotic he can be with his opinions. So I was wrong in saying that they were going to come to some sort of agreement. So I apologize to everybody on that one. That was definitely on me. But I truly feel they're so far apart that'll never happen. With the IRL shit that's happened to Ethan, with the shit that Hassan has said, and the people that he associates himself with, there's never going to be an agreement on their side. And when it comes to Israel and Palestine, this fight is going to go on long after we're all in the ground, right? It's just going to keep going on. There's never going to be an end in sight. So
this wasn't truly about politics, to be honest. It was two petty people just trying to go back and forth, trying to one up each other in the beginning. Like it was, right. I didn't even want to continue on, like listening to their debate whenever Ethan, trying to be funny, trying to bring a little bit of humor into it. He's like, oh, let me show this clip of your fan, right? So he showed a clip of somebody who he says was a fan of Hassan, and Hassan tried to catch him on that as if that's like a very interesting or important talking point of, is this guy Hassan's fan or not? It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Why are you guys even arguing about this? And the point that Ethan is just trying to get to the other points of the argument, and Hassan was latching onto that so hard as a gotcha, was miserable. Like, dude, it doesn't matter if this guy was a fan or not. It doesn't matter if this is a joke or not. It's you guys being so fucking petty and not going over the actual points that should be talked about, right? So Hassan just latching onto that so hard. And Ethan himself even said, what did he said? He said something along the lines of, I concede. He kept saying that over and over again, or like, yeah, you're right. He kept doing that just so they could get on to a different talking point. And in that point, you can see that Hassan, he doesn't really care about the actual arguments that he's making. He just wants to make Ethan look stupid. So what are we doing here?
I
think
go ahead.
That it was they worked together before. They pretty much have the same political views besides just that one difference they have with the the Israelis being hurt and all that is bad. I think that Ethan just did this to kind of like swing his dick around, like, oh, I'm gonna show all this and make Hassan look even worse, and like want to do it for personal reasons, not because he was showing stuff that didn't even relate to Hassan, like Frogan's thumbnail that didn't relate to Hassan. And the fact
I
that
don't agree with you there.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think that
sword. They're both millionaires, and none of this really matters in the context of the war that's going on.
The thing is, though, you have two prominent internet personalities that stream to thousands, they get millions of views and all that, and they're on two opposite and different sides of the coin, right? So I think
wouldn't say opposite. They had used to stream politically together, you know?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, it came to an impasse because of how they viewed the whole entire conflict. They got into a straight up argument. Now they're like not even friends anymore because of what has happened. Since then, Hassan and his camp has fucked with him so much. You know, he wanted his moment to get Hassan in there and break him down and to really show how much of an idiot he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have complexity making a very good point. Thank you so much, complexity. He says Hassan runs in circles, so you get frustrated and quit the debate, same as he did with Willie Mack. That is very, very, very important that you need to, highlight, because something else that he does is he'll say Ethan, like in a very condescending or like annoyed way. Like, bro, you're not doing anything by just saying that or acting like you're annoyed or calling somebody their full name condescendingly. It was running in circles or going nowhere. And then the rare moments that they would actually touch on a point, they would get back to their petty shit. But let's continue on with some of the clips.
No, you're good. Yeah. So after that, they move into the Sabra hummus tier list, because that was a huge thing that Frogan did. Now, just for context, they did this at a TwitchCon event, right? So when they initially did this, if you look, I'm gonna show this here real quick. If you look, obviously, we all know what the normal ones are, right? So Arab coded, ask permission, thinks it's a slur, and then love Sabra hummus, right? So what they claim this is the term Habibi. And using that term, if you think it's a slur, obviously it's an Arabic word. And, they basically discuss it and they make fun of certain creators. They put creators where they think on the tier list it is. And that thumbnail itself is where Ethan and Ben Shapiro were at the bottom in the F tier. Everyone else above them was, of Arab descent, I believe. Maybe one or two weren't. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know the Arab descent was at the top, and then the only two people at the bottom were Jewish people. So just playing this clip for context, this is what Frogan, and this is Denim's right here. The other two, I have no idea who they are, but that really doesn't matter. It's what they really say that matters. So let's get into that real quick so y'all get it.
Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one. That's good. All right. Turn that up. Turn giraffes.
We all know where this is going.
Notice who's at the top right here. Very first person, right? That's important.
Okay. I'm like, I'm giving audience input. They're like, fuck what you guys had to say.
Dude, where's the? You guys are missing a category for Zionist.
If that ain't racism, I don't know what is. Straight up, calling them out for that and saying that basically, you know what I mean? That's just fucked. But let's continue.
Joke. That was just a joke in my.
Denim's. Well, obviously it's Love Sabra, right?
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's easy. That's definitely Love Sabra. All right, so there he
Are
goes.
we being messy?
Yes.
Good.
You put him as number. Yeah,
I'm
our
so
third
scared.
choice.
Honestly, dude, Capri's gonna have anxiety about this for the rest of his fucking.
Jibay said he's going to have anxiety about that for the rest of his career. So, yeah, it's I hate that bitch so much. But anyways, so let's go ahead and talk about when they brought that up. So obviously Ethan wanted to bring it up because of what the thumbnail showed, and because him and Ben Shapiro, them at the top. So Hassan tries to deflect a little bit and say that he doesn't think it's that deep, but the word Sabra is actually a Jewish word, and then that's why Ethan believes that they did that, and it makes total sense when you look at the thumbnail. It does make sense. But let's go ahead and let them talk, see what they had to say about it.
Frogan's thumbnail for the Sabra hummus tier list. In the F tier is me and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is not in the tier list. He has never explored or used. Why do you think Ben Shapiro is on the F tier?
Yeah, so real quick, the entire time they did this, Ben Shapiro was not brought up once during the TwitchCon, not one time. But they just happened to put another Jewish person at the bottom that is conservative. So, just for context.
Ethan?
Whoa, answer the
you through this
question.
again.
What, you're dodging?
I'm not iDubbbz. And
Oh,
I'm
but
not
you can't
Rogan.
make value judgments suddenly on your friends who you've spent all this time defending.
No, because I don't care.
Well, I do.
I don't. Like,
I
this
think
is
it's great
so-
you don't
this
care.
is-
Why is Ben Shapiro there?
I don't know. I don't care. Probably because he's also
Probably
a
because he's
massive
Jewish?
fucking. What?
Because it's the most
he's
most
Jewish?
prominent Jewish creators on YouTube.
Do you think Ben Shapiro's Judaism is the reason as to why he would be on this?
100% without a doubt, yes.
No, I agree with him.
What's Rogan's thumb?
I agree with him 100%.
Isn't he like more towards Israel and politically?
Well, he's Jewish.
Too?
He's Jewish. So,
Yeah.
you know, he is. I mean, he can be critical of people, but obviously, you know, whenever he does a show, you know, he wears the head garment. I don't know what it's called, but he wears that every single show.
Yarmulke.
Yarmulke. Thank you. So, yeah, I had a brain fart. I apologize. But Hassan goes into more of a reason why that he thinks that is, and it is totally bullshit in my opinion. But this is like that. By the way, Beans, you heard him, Ethan. You heard that 100%, right? So you nailed that one on the head.
Yeah.
So
That was so demeaning.
it really is. So Hassan explains his opinion why it's total bullshit. He's, to me, I wouldn't say deflect, but he's trying to just word salad his way from not taking any accountability for what he's about to say.
He's a prominent defender of Israel.
You're
I
quick to
suspect.
say that Jews aren't the only Zionists, right? So why is Ben Shapiro, of all the people in the world who are conservatives, who are Zionists, Christian Zionists, why Ben Shapiro? Me and Ben Shapiro and F tier, the two most prominent Jewish creators on YouTube? That's a coincidence, just like the swastika, huh?
Ethan,
these are two cosmic coincidences.
Ethan,
Hassan, they're really stacking up.
The tier list that you're talking about, first of all, the tier list that we're talking about was literally designed by a Jewish content creator who you advocated to ban, and he got banned.
Very good, and I'm glad he did. He definitely deserved it.
Jew. You called him a token
And
Jew.
I still stand by that. The man is just fucking. Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is just like the one African American guy that was on the content cop, people called him a token, right? Just to cover their bases. I think LCL kind of joked around about that, but go ahead.
Ethan didn't even know who he was, the African man on the content cop.
I got you.
Like all the other ones, you knew Ethan was fighting with, but nobody really knew what his beef with Ethan was.
I got you. But to be honest with you, I don't either because I was just trying to get the hit points from them because I want to kind of focus on what they did. So, so from here they discuss companies on the BDS list. Now, what a BDS list is I'll pull it up real quick so y'all can see. But in a nutshell, they are companies that are against the Palestinian or that are like anti-Palestinian movement, right? And there's a list that was created so that way if people knew this, then they wouldn't buy from them and they wouldn't, I guess, do business with them. So just for context here, come on, here we go. I hate this verify thing. Sorry. Let me go ahead and pull this up. So the Palestinian BDS list is a large coalition of the Palestinian society that boycott, divestment, and sanctions. So these are companies, if you ever want to check this out, bdsmovement.net. It's just companies that they claim are anti-Palestine. So when they talk about that, they say Sabra Hummus is on there. Sabra Hummus is on that BDS list, and that's why there's this whole big thing. So Ethan discusses what it meant to him. So let's go ahead and play that one real quick so y'all can get that context.
What is it about?
It's about what's Sabra means a Jew born in Israel. It's an Israeli.
That's right. The Sabra was that word that meant a Jew born in Israel. That's kind of the whole thing and why he believes that they did the tier list. But let's continue.
company. It's everybody knows it's like considered like Israeli hummus. It's been on the BDS list. Everybody knows the connotations of Sabra hummus, right? Nobody. I don't like Sabra hummus either. But we're not talking about hummus. What I don't like is anti-Semitism perpetuated by your friends and swept by you. Now, why is Ben Shapiro on the F tier? That's a cosmic coincidence. Okay, let's move on. Very good.
Ethan,
go ahead. Next question.
I'm not Frogan.
I know it's
and I don't know
I know.
why.
How can I make value judgments on my friends I've been defending for 2 years?
Also,
who can say?
there is
So there's the major problem. You know, you are the company you keep. The friends that you have is what you're going to be judged on. Hassan knows what these people are about. He knows what they've said. We've seen it firsthand. So he's trying to kind of, just talk a little bit of shit, not hold their feet to the fire for what they've done, and pretty much kind of defend them without defending them directly, if that makes sense. What you mad typing over there, Beans?
People being dumb. People are like, you guys are trying to silence Buff Weeb. I was like, I didn't even know Buff Weeb was here. Damn.
What do we silence Buff Weeb on?
Plus, he can jump in at any time. Like, I'm fine with that. But the other thing, it's not one guide if it's multiple people. But the other thing is that if you're familiar with the debate bro stuff, if you watch Destiny, if you watch Hassan, if you watch even Mr. Girl, don't watch them. But if you watch people like that, you know the tactics that people use in order to derail a conversation. But the thing is that something that also pissed me off during this debate is the comparison. So, for example, you started talking about Ben Shapiro, right? Well, there's one point where they started talking about Candace Owens. And then Hassan latched on to that, and he's like, oh, so you're saying that I'm as bad as Candace Owens. Or you're saying that I'm worse than Candace Owens. Like, that sort of thing. And it's like, nobody's trying to compare you to Candace Owens, but in your own way, you're doing the same exact stuff. And it doesn't matter if you're the worst or the best or, any sort of thing. It's that you're doing it regardless. And that's the point that Ethan is trying to touch upon, right? Because if you're going, Candace Owens is one of the most prominent, speakers when it comes to those talking points. But if you're like, oh, well, am I as bad as this person? You're just derailing the conversation, because at that point you're just saying, oh, so I'm as bad as Hitler. Like, nobody's trying to make those sort of points. We're just trying to tell you that you're doing these things that a lot of people will get behind, and it may lead to very dangerous actions. And that's the point that he's trying to make, right?
The issue to me is that there's, Ethan brought up a lot of good points. He had receipts for these points and showing him, and Hassan was taking literally no accountability. And he didn't want to even talk about his friends doing bad things when, my friends are the most critical of me than anybody I know. So if you can't even be critical of your own friends and tell them when they're being dumb and fucked up, then, you're sweeping at that point for what they're doing. And by not speaking out, you're siding with them, because, silence also speaks very loudly when it comes to issues, you know what I mean? So
very true.
There's a lot. We only got 12 minutes left. There's a lot more, but we may hit this tomorrow, but by tomorrow this is going to be old news. I wanted to talk about the content deputy that iDubbbz did. So, in the content deputy, he basically kind of comes out, and this is kind of, I guess, his reaction to the Ethan and Hassan debate. He kind of gives his 2 cents because, obviously the content cop was brought up. iDubbbz was brought up with a lot of different clips that he used was solely from the CPS phone call that happened when Ethan talked about that. So this is, let's want to get into that one real quick. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't delve too deep into this, but time went like that. And there's a lot that I have. But this is Ethan's.
Now with this recent.
This is Ethan basically saying that he's gone from Creator Clash.
Revelation that people are just going to use Creator Clash to attack Anissa and I. Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash. We have relinquished control to our business partners who ran the previous 2 events. They're very capable. They know exactly what they're doing. They run events on a regular basis. The event is still happening. Anise and I just don't have any financial ties. We don't have any ownership. We are, I think just going to be known as the founders of the event. Yeah, I mean, I think it had to come to this eventually. I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't, I can. I just didn't want to. I want to be frank. I want to be honest. I was very quiet during the second Creator Clash because I was afraid of how that would impact other people. This year,
Yeah, when you saw it becoming a failure, bro.
I said I'm going to do something different. I'm going to fight back if someone's trying to attack me. So that
there it is. So let me ask, Beans, have you asked for refunds yet?
I'm about to be honest. Because
did you
the
really
only
get 'em?
people. Yeah, I did. I got 'em months ago. And like the only reason why I did is because we already went to the other two, right? They were very close and convenient. And also like there was something to look forward to. Like a bunch of the YouTubers I basically grew up with was at the first one and the second one, but now there's nobody that I recognize in the third one. Dad is not gonna be there anymore. I'm blanking right now. The other guy, Harley's not going to be there anymore. And there's just a bunch of like Minecraft YouTubers that I don't freaking watch. So it's like, why would I waste my money doing this? Like it was really expensive getting the tickets when they first came out anyways. So if there's any way to, have a refund, then I'm probably going to do that. But
yeah,
that Lena from H3 isn't going to be on it either. So
that's the thing. All these people are pulling out, like Bean said, and it's literally like not even worth it. And I believe tickets have went half price, and the pay-per-view has gone half price. I think. I know that there's a lot of price cuts right now. They're trying to still raise money for charity. Obviously, they want money to go to charity. That's the whole point of it. But it's just not a good look right now. So basically, he brought up Ethan in the content cop, and he is in the next clip we're showing. iDubbbz basically says that. Ethan's the type of person that if he disagrees with you, automatically you're an anti-Semite, right? That's what iDubbbz's feeling is towards him. So let's go ahead and let iDubbbz speak for himself on that one.
criticisms, I labeled that Ethan is that he's a bad boss, a tyrant of a boss. I just implied that he was being taken advantage of by people either in his community or outside of his community, and I called him a bitch-made coward. That was like the summary of personal insults labeled at Ethan. Before Ethan even knew what my video was about, he was already framing me as anti-Semitic.
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys. Let's get after it. Israelis have no right to defend themselves, actually. All Israelis are settlers, actually. What is he going to give me a history lesson now? Is he a historian? Yeah, he just discovered empathy, by the way, and only extends to the point where you're actually talking about Jewish people.
The problem is they used the S sword by Hassan's own mouth. iDubbbz picked that up to use it. And there's pictures of it that are still posted that have not come down. And whether you think it is or not, the man who owns it said it was. The man owns 9 other swords. They could have did anything with it, but he chose that. So in my opinion, for Ethan to have that connotation, that mindset, I totally get it. I truly do. But, you know, they do have a history. Obviously, they were friends at one point, if you want to call it friends, associates, whatever. But, you know, at the point in time when your supposed friend or ex-friend sides with someone that has done all that shit to you, your fan base, your people you hang out with, you know, dog you out over, you know, being Jewish and all that, and then your friend picks up that sword is like, again, the final nail in the coffin to what you think about somebody. So, y'all got any comments on that before I move on?
This reminds me of the whole thing about, like, for example, Donald Trump becoming, you know, the president, and people are like, oh, well, if you have, okay, there are certain topics that, hey, if you agree with this, I don't know if we can be friends anymore, because there are some topics that can be pretty volatile, especially to a friendship. But if it's just like, oh, we mildly disagree on something being the end all be all to a friendship, just because somebody has like a certain opinion, sometimes that doesn't mean that they're completely a bad person. Maybe they're just misinformed, and maybe you can convince them otherwise or inform them, or maybe you guys can have a discussion. Like, sometimes somebody having a different opinion than you does not mean that they're a bad person.
That's why a lot of people, the two rules, you don't talk about religion and politics. That's the
right.
two things you don't talk about, because that can split up somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
So since we only have 5 minutes left, the last thing I'm going to talk about is his version of the sword hilt, because, you know, that's a big topic. This is iDubbbz talking about it and how it all happened. So let's go ahead and end it with that one before we close this thing out.
Now, I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword. I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword hilt because Ethan himself basically admitted already multiple times he doesn't think any of us did that intentionally. And he would be right.
Do I think any of them actually like wanted to put a swastika in the photo? No,
Yeah,
that's no. I don't actually think that. The chances that they did on purpose is close to zero, right? So I'm not accusing them.
I picked up a random sword in Hassan's room that was laying around. That could be the end of the discussion. You don't actually need to debate Hassan about the sword hilt.
He left it up.
Decision making.
If it was a mistake, he could have deleted it.
But I'm not going to delete the photo because that would be indulging in your weird anti-Semitic fantasies.
We can free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis. How about that?
Now, I don't want to talk about Hassan's...
Yeah.
That's wrong calling him a Nazi.
Well,
there's not enough information to know that.
I mean, if you're holding a sword with that, what looks like the symbol, I mean, it's pretty easy to infer that. I mean, was it a little extreme? Maybe from the outside looking in, but if you're a Jewish person and you see that symbol of hate on someone, you know what I mean? I feel you can infer that. That's just my own personal opinion.
I don't think so. I think that they're both people on the internet and they're both fucking ass mad about what's going on. So of course you're going to throw out like these really hard-hitting words that now people use a little too much on the internet. Now racist doesn't mean the same thing anymore. We have watered down that word. Zionist is also going to be one of those words in general. Like it is kind of disgusting how we have to water down these words so much. We're going to throw them at people just because we have like an inference of like what they did. Do I think that there are actually people that want a group of people to die? Just like nobody chooses to be the color of skin they are. Nobody chooses what religion they are born into. Nobody chooses these things. And if you're actually a person that thinks that you should go die because of these things you don't control, then yeah, you're a horrible fucking person. But somebody who truly, I don't think they truly think that. I don't think so. I think they're probably misinformed and they're just throwing these words out there trying to make other people look bad. And in turn, there are some young people that watch Hassan. There's young people that watch Ethan, and they're gonna go after each other, and it's going to be bad all around. Their petty little debacle having to rope in politics is going to be like, I'm not gonna say the death because that's freaking dramatic as hell, but it's going to be an all-out war on the internet, and it's never going to fucking stop.
It's definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely not. And the people on the internet, there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there that feel they can say whatever they want, but you put them in front of a mic and a camera, a lot of them ain't going to say that. Or in front of a crowd of people, they're not going to say that. But all I'm going to say is, you know, he called them a Nazi, again, out of anger. I do feel that. But again, if I see someone that looks like Ethan walking down the street with the jacket with that symbol on it, I'm probably going to say the same thing. I mean, and I'm not saying iDubbbz is. I'm saying like, you know, with the same complexion, same look, and all that, and they have a Nazi on their symbol on their sleeve, then I'm gonna call them one. That's just my own personal opinion.
Well,
but
yeah.
all right,
In that case, yeah.
We're gonna close this thing out. I know I didn't get to all of it, like I said, guys, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, may talk about it tomorrow, may not, because again, this is old news at this point. But you know, at the end of the day, this conflict is causing, you know, genocide, famine, children being killed, you know, parents getting stripped from their children, just constant destruction. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's any end in sight because this has been going on since the biblical times. And it's sad, but what are you going to do? But
And real quick, before we end, there is people saying that, like, oh, you don't choose your religion. Whenever you're young, you don't get to choose, okay? A lot of the times there's family, you're born into it, people indoctrinate you into religion. Whenever you're older, you do get to choose. But in general, the biggest thing is you don't get to choose the color of your skin and you don't get to choose how you're born. That's the biggest thing. And if you're hating somebody because of something they can't choose, you're the asshole. Big letters.
Yep. And Jem brought out Ian, not Ethan. Yeah, Ethan and Ian sound the same whenever I speak. So yeah, I didn't mean that, but cool. All right, y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and we're going to send you over to Test.